Good day everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss about trigonometric functions, trigonometric identities, and law of sine. But first, we're going to focus on evaluating trigonometric functions at different angles. To begin, perhaps you heard of the expression soka toa. S in so means sine theta, or the length of the opposite sides over the length of the hypotenuse. The C in Ka represents cosine, or the ratio between the length of the adjacent side and the length of the hypotenuse side. And lastly, we have TOA. The T in TOA represents the tangent theta, or the ratio between the opposite side and the length of adjacent side. And we just have to remember that secant is the reciprocal of cosine, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. Keep in mind that in solving trigonometric functions, we need to remember and memorize this formula. And if ever you're given a triangle with a missing angle, you just need to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. The c represents the hypotenuse, the a represents the adjacent, and the b represents the opposite. So now let's proceed to the example. Using this triangle as your example, how can you find all the 6 trigonometric functions? Since the triangle misses its hypotenuse sides, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing angle of the triangle. And by using the Pythagorean theorem, we should get this answer. And now that the angles of triangles is complete, we can now identify all the 6 trigonometric functions using this formula. By using that formula, you should be able to get this answer. Now you have identified all the 6 trigonometric functions. Now that you know how to identify and evaluate trigonometric function, let's proceed to our second topic, which is trigonometric identities. First is we need to familiarize the trigonometric identities. First identities is the quotient identities. Tangent theta is equal to sine theta over cosine theta. And the cotangent theta is equal to cosine theta and sine theta. In our previous lessons, we learned that sine theta is the reciprocal of cosecant theta, and cosine theta is the reciprocal of secant theta, and tangent theta is the reciprocal of cotangent theta, and that is our reciprocal identities. Next is Pythagorean identities. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. Secant squared theta minus tan squared theta is equal to 1. And cosecant theta minus cotangent theta is equal to 1. And lastly, we have even odd identities. Sine negative theta is equal to negative sine theta. Cosine negative theta is equal to cosine theta. Tangent negative theta is equal to negative tangent theta. Cotangent negative theta is equal to negative cotangent theta. Cosecant negative theta is equal to negative cosecant theta. And secant negative theta is equal to secant theta. Here are some guidelines for verifying trigonometric identities. First is simplify the more complex side, then perform indicated operation if needed. Lastly, simplify it to sine or cosine. Now let's begin with our problem. Let's say we have a function sine x, secant x is equal to tangent x. And since the left side is more complicated than the right side, let's simplify the left side. First is we need to convert secant into cosine. And secant is equal to 1 over cosine, which will give us this function. Sine x times 1 is simply sine x, so the answer must be sine x over cosine x is equal to tangent x. Sine x over cosine x is simply tan x, so our final answer is equal to tangent x is equal to tangent x. Now that you know how to identify and evaluate trigonometric identities, let's proceed to our last topic, which is the law of sine. So let's say we have a triangle ABC. Across the angle A is the side A. Across the angle B is the side B. And across this angle C is the side C. So for example, as you're given the angle of A, which is 60 degrees, angle B 70 degrees, and side A, which is 8. How will you find the missing angles and side of this triangle? Since this angle C is missing, we just simply solve it, because we know that angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180. So if we solve for C, we'll get the angle C, which is 50 degrees. So how would we find the missing sides? First is we need to solve for side B. And using the law of sine, we can solve the side B as you can see here. Solving for side B, we can now proceed to solve side C. And using the law of sine, we can get the value of side C, which is 7.07. And this is how the triangle looks. And now you know how to evaluate the law of sine. That's all for our video for today, and thank you for watching.